So Chelsea, as mentioned, had been improving of late, but this for them is a home loss against Brentford. It does mean that they are in the bottom half of the table, 2 games now without a win, and ahead of them, well, there is a difficult time ahead of them, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But let's welcome in our former boy in blue in Frank Leboeuf. We'd seen signs of progress recently, Frank. What happened today?
Well, many things didn't go well today, that's for sure. The game that they played, the lack of pace in their game, for sure. But they dominated the first half. It was hard. It takes 2 to tango. I think Brentford didn't want to play offensively, and they were right. You know, they knew that what they had to do to make sure that Chelsea couldn't score. They played like 2 lines, 5-5, and didn't allow Chelsea to have too much spaces. But football is full of details, and had Sterling would have had that penalty, it would have been a different story maybe. Brentford would have to go out and to try to score a goal, and maybe it would have been easier for Chelsea. Having said that, you know, I don't try to defend the Blue. It wasn't enough to beat Brentford and to be strong enough. Again, the lack of strikers, the lack of ideas, the lack of pace, again, doesn't allow me to be too nice to the Blues and to say that they have to work again, and they looked like a mid-table team. That's it.
And then the referee doesn't give it, and I sympathise. You see that maybe the referee's thinking is it is a kind of coming together, shoulders, and Raheem Sterling goes over easily. But if you're sitting in a VR booth and you have those 2-3 angles, and you do not see that as a penalty, I'm not quite sure what you're doing. And again, does it come back to this? And we've seen it, and I know Stevie agrees with me because we've said this time and time again, this ridiculous notion about is it a clear and obvious error? So the VAR doesn't intervene. I do not know what that means. That means nothing other than let's give the VAR a get-out clause when he makes an absolute mistake. Yeah. And this was an absolute mistake, so I will not be surprised if that's what you hear time and time again around this, because it's bemusing.
If there's something else that we are saying time and time again with this Chelsea side, Stevie, particularly with the money that was spent, it's that they're not scoring the goals that they should be.
Yeah, they're not, but, you know, listen, we've just been looking at the Clasico and according to Xavi and everybody else, Barcelona were the better side, but when Real Madrid were on top, they scored goals. We could have been doing the same about Chelsea. I mean, the fact is that when they're on top, they can't score goals. And they had opportunities. You know, they should have had the penalty. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Cucurella should have scored. I mean, a free volley from 6 yards. Hits it straight to the keeper. If it goes either side, it's a goal. Sterling had one he blasts over the bar. Cole Palmer, when it was 1-0, could have got an equaliser. A simple, to me, it was a simple cutback, and somehow he almost whiffed on it. So, I mean, Chelsea are just finding ways to lose games. But the crux of the matter is, if they had a centre forward, they could score goals, they would have a lot more points than they actually do.
I think the silver lining, or maybe 2 in this case, is that Nkunku, by all accounts, is back training, so we'll see how long it takes him to regain fitness, find himself back in the starting lineup, and find form. And I think his presence transforms this team from a goal scoring perspective. We'll see. Secondly, and I thought Chelsea's football over the last couple of weeks has been a whole lot better than we saw in the first half of the season. And so it's finally starting to click with Pochettino and this Chelsea team. But to that point, I was sitting watching this and thinking as I'm watching this game, I'm thinking, Chelsea are looking good, you know. There's only one winner here. Mm-hmm. And then more and more as the minutes